All right. Well, oh my goodness, look at my face all washed out. Way to start. Well, good evening, everyone. It's Carolyne Rodrigues here with a washed out face. Let me just change my lighting here because it's all about me, right? How do I look, guys? How do I look? I love feedback.
And a little pale, a little pale.
I'm a little pale. I know. I'll fix myself afterwards. And so we'd love to see your beautiful faces for those of you who have joined us here live, because we're a small group, right? So it's always nice for the hosts, the trainers, to see who's looking at us. What are, unless you're celebrating Valentine's Day and doing a double duty. So here it is, February the 14th, 2002. We're 1 month and a half, 1.5 months into the new year. And this morning on a call, we were talking about, goal setting and what have you accomplished and how do you benchmark yourself. And we took people through a benchmarking system. There's that beautiful Arnie. Through a benchmarking system so that are you making progress? So one of the things that I keep asking Pat is, what are the things, oops, Lord, really dark there. What are the things that she does consistently to produce the results that she gets? Because last week, Pat enrolled 3 people, 2 from the webinar that we did on the Celatwop, and she sent out over 50 invites, you guys. So the numbers don't lie, right? So are you tracking your numbers? What are you doing? So let me just introduce Pat, and we'll do a little back and forth bantering in terms of what does she do? What questions do you guys have? I'll throw that throw your questions in the chat. I'll feed them back to Pat. So who is Pat Mussieux? Did I say that right? Mussieux. Miss you. I missed you. Okay, so who is she? She's an internationally acclaimed speaker, an award-winning business coach, a former radio and TV host. If you look in the background there's some gold statues behind her head. Yeah, there you go. And she's won a whole bunch of Stevie Awards for Female Executive of the Year. She's won 4 times for Female Entrepreneur of the Year for Canada. So she's a big deal, right? She's been a product of the product. Pat has been using the products for over 6 years. And when COVID hit, she decided that she needed to take a look at the income model, the business model, right? And so she has been working her isogenics business full-time, and I mean full-time. She's at her desk first thing in the morning after having done all of her exercises, which she posts in our Sizzle Life group. And she's Adam, ready to go and working her business diligently. So here she is at the age of 70, and she's on a mission to help other women who are in her avatar group actually regain their health and possibly their wealth. Because Pat's income 2 years ago went from a multiple 6-figure income to a 0. So there's other women out there who are in that position, who are looking for help. And so I asked Pat to come on and share her keys to success and identify one particular thing that she does well. And it really is this. And so it's, like mine, right? The Power of Focus. This is the book that I use. And we were talking about this, oops, I got my finger on there. There we go. The consistency circle. So Pat, welcome. And thank you for coming and sharing your gifts, because I know that when you train people, your fees are a little steeper than what they are tonight. Nothing. So take it away, Pat. Like take us through a day. What's a day like in Pat Mussieux's environment?
Well, thank you, first of all, for the invitation, Carolyne. I'm always happy to share, as we often talk about what's working, and let's do more of what's working. And I love that we share often around that. For those of you who don't know, Carolyne and I have buddied up as accountability buddies. And that's one of the secret sauces, if you will, to moving forward in this business. So what does my day look like? Well, Kermit's my quarantine buddy here. I didn't bring him to the call, but Kermit's my buddy. Check my Facebook page. I just posted my Valentine post with Kermit. So I'm typically up and at 'em between 6 and 6:15 in the morning. No alarm clock. It's just a natural wake up, ready to get going. And the first 2 hours of my day are for me. So that's hashtag me first. Always, always, no excuses, no exceptions. My phone is on only because then when I head into my workout, I use the camera aspect on my phone to take photos and videos to monitor A, my positioning, and B, my progress, because I keep a photo journal of my workouts. So the first 2 hours of my day is exercising. First is meditation. And I usually go to the one that says setting the intention for the day. So I do the meditation, then I do my exercise. And of course, I'm always filling my isogenics bottle with I start with Knox before the workout. I have the amped BCAA in my water during my workout. And I have my amped repair in my Tri-Release shake after my workout. I always love to give a plug for the amped products. I think they're absolutely outstanding and under promoted. After I do my workout, then I move to my dining room table, and that's where I start with my bulletproof coffee, and I have my journal. So I write out my goals every morning, all of them, every morning, followed by my affirmations that support my goals. Then I do my gratitude journal. Then I do my reading. So I pick a book a month to read and to work through. This one, I've had this, gosh, almost 15 years, I think. And every January, I pull this one out again. And there's lots of activities in this book. It's like a workbook as well. So I work through this. So I'm a little slower this year on this one because I've got bigger goals and I really want to do the exercises in depth. So, yep, I do my reading. I do my gratitude journal. I do, aside from the professional reading, I do personal reading in my daily inspiration book. And that's my quiet time for me. So I get myself grounded and anchored for the day, and I make sure that I am taken care of. Charlene,
Okay.
did you hold that up too?
Yes. So if you have it, oh my God, I love it.
Go,
Somebody take a
Charlene.
picture. And Pat, that seems like some people may be thinking, well, this is going to take me all day. Anybody else feel like that?
What's going to take you all day?
I just am like, okay, I wake up, meditation,
Oh,
exercise.
2 hours.
So that's okay. Thank you for telling me that.
2 hours, 6:30 to 8:30. And in that time, in the last 20 minutes, and I hop in the shower, I get dressed, and I come here to my desk by 8:30, 8:35. That's my routine. So from 6-ish to 8:30 is for me, getting ready, getting anchored, feeding me before the world starts sucking the life out of me, and or before I start giving to the world. Yep. And so go ahead.
No social media, no checking emails,
Nope. No, I really don't care what the rest of you are doing. And really that's it. I don't care. I care more about grounding me first. And why? I've been where many of you have been, perhaps. I've been the burnout route. I've been the route of checking everything and running and accommodating everybody. And at the end of the day, saying, what did I do for me? Oh, gee, I didn't have time to exercise. Oh, gee, I didn't prepare my meals. Oh, gee, I didn't do my gratitude journal because I hit the ground looking at email and social media. I don't do that anymore. It's me first. The rest of you can wait until 8:30.
Okay, awesome. I like that. And so that smacks of the word discipline, right? And because a lot of people have well, this is my plan B, and so it's my day off, and I want to just relax and have my coffee and do my own thing. And so, can you speak to that?
Well, okay, so I'll put my business coach hat on then, because I'm here for the business, and my discipline, my routine, my consistency, my goals, my achievements are all tied to the fact that I'm here for business. And so I know my why, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm doing it and for whom I'm doing it. So I recognize that not everybody is as committed and or able to commit the time that I do. The bottom line is this is either a hobby for you or a business for you. Okay. It starts with that decision, it starts with that mindset, and then it follows through on the actions. So for me, this is my business, and no different than when I was doing my professional speaking or my business coaching. leadership training, any of that, I show up for business. I show up dressed for business. I showed up prepared for business, and I get into action for business.
Okay, so for some of the folks on the line or in who are listening to this in replay time, if you've got a young family or you've got life going on and people tugging at you in all different directions, what advice would you have for them in terms of getting your morning started and getting ready for business?
Well, here's the one thing. Again, I go back to my business coaching. When I was always investing in my business, so I always took a percentage of my revenue and I invested it back into my business. And I would hear people say, well, I can't afford to do that. The bottom line is there is no budget that cannot be spent, and there's no time that cannot be wasted. We all have 24 hours.
Right?
And so it really comes down to, what do you want to accomplish? How committed are you to that? And what's one thing you're going to do about it? That one thing might be an hour a day. If we can't find an hour a day in 24 hours to do a business, then you're in the hobby business, and might as well, nothing wrong with that. That's your choice. That's your choice. That's not my choice. But there are hours in the day, pockets of time. We've heard many other trainers say that. It comes down to discipline, goals, clarity, and action.
Discipline, goals, well, clarity.
And action.
I think that clarity word sticks out for me, because if you're not clear on what you want and why you want it, then I don't know how much discipline you have and what goals you have. So without that clarity, and we've heard all the stories, right? There's, I don't know, 380, 400 millionaires, and all different roads lead to that achievement. And our very own Susan Sly, I mean, she started her business. She was working full time. She had a full-time job. She had kids and her office. So this is key, you guys. She had a dedicated office space. And I think that has a lot to do with that, puts you into that mindset, right? So Pat, you show me what your desk space looks like, because when in that 1 hour, what are you doing? And what shouldn't you be doing?
Well, when I come in here, first of all, first thing, I do have my list of 3 things I want to accomplish today, because at the end of each day, so let me go through my day again. We stopped at 8:30 in the morning when I come in here. And the first thing I do is I sit and get grounded. I look to my left, so stay with me. I'm going to my left, and I have my vision board. That's my pink pandemic vision board. And then I stop and I take a breath and I reread my affirmations, and I go to my right. I'm just updating this. So I have my strategy board over here. And I have my wall of inspiration as well. So I make sure that my workspace surrounds me and grounds me in clarity and information and good energy. I know Donna's on the call. We're always talking about energy and vibration. I want good energy in here, so the desk is clean. So I start with my goal sheet, and as we talked about, and as I was repeating this morning, listening to Fraser Brooks, he said, don't be a fool, use the tools. So I sit down and I get my tools out. First thing is the shifting gears form that Kyle Nakrash, did I say that right? Nakrash?
Yeah.
He introduced at NYKO. He had a session on this. And so just Google it, Kyle shifting gears. So I sit down, this is an intention sheet. I sit down with this. The second thing I pull out, I always have handy, is my LIA. This is my tracking form. This is important to me. It's got my goals on it. I have my affirmations on the back, and my best friend, Penny.
Penny.
I pull out Penny. So I sit down, and while I have my goals listed, I go into Penny right away, and Penny tells me whose subscription is due, what prospects to speak to, what connects to make happen, and so on. So I work with Penny first. Then I go to Facebook and I look at all the birthday listings, because I love birthdays. I love birthdays. I can remember when I was still living in Ontario, and God bless Sharon Little, out of the blue, every now and then there'd be a chocolate bar appearing in my mailbox in my home with a little card and a note. I love gifts. I love birthdays. So I make sure I do the birthday greetings, and we talked about that a bit. So I'm getting into you call IPAs, I call revenue generating activities. So for the first 1 to 2 hours of my day at my desk, after my own 2 hours, is spent on revenue generating activities. What am I doing to connect, to follow up, to prospect, and so on? Revenue generating activities, because this is a business. It's a business. And so again, you know, I track my numbers. So every day at the end of the day, I look at my LIA and I conclude, have I enrolled anybody today? Have I developed a consultant today? Have I worked with a consultant to help them develop their people? So I look at my numbers, and at the end of the day, if I haven't generated any revenue, double PIBs, I mean, one or many of the 8 ways we get paid with Isagenix,
Right.
then shame on me. And so I come back in the next day and go, all right, I need to kick it up a notch. So my whole day is focused on connecting. My intention is to have 3 Zoom chats a day, face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball with people. Because here in Alberta, we're not out networking yet. I don't know if anybody's in the States on this call, but in Alberta, Canada, we're not out at networking events yet. So I intentionally commit to 3 networking, either from Facebook or LinkedIn, because of all my connections, 3 calls a day.
3 like face-to-face. Yeah.
Eyeball to eyeball. Yeah, I had 2 today, so I was very happy with that.
That's awesome because, you know, you and I were chatting and I was talking about a LinkedIn get to know you Zoom chat that I had with this performance coach. And I learned some really valuable tips from him. And when I asked him specifically, okay, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And how do you know you're getting a return on your investment? And he rhymed off the numbers to me. He said, yeah, I send out 25 invitations to connects daily. And he had his numbers. And at the end of the week, his response to me was, he said, yeah, last week I got 6 new customers. And so I think that's,
and I got 3.
And you got 3. Well, and that's awesome. And I think that is the, and again, guys, there's no judgment here, because when I first started, I was, you know, stop comparing, because honestly, when Pat told me about her 3, I was like, geez, I only got 1, and I should do that. Well, and we went through this morning, right? Here's the chatter, you guys. Oh my goodness, how do those people do it? Like when you hear the celebrations, and it's like, oh, what's the matter with me? Well, I've been at this for so long. Everybody I know has already heard about Isagenix, and you know, like they don't really want to hear from me. But that Pat, she got 3. Well, then I asked Pat, how many people did she invite to our team webinar that we did on Friday? She sent out 50 invitations.
Yeah, and I did that through Penny, by the way.
Oh,
just saying,
thank
Carolyne.
you, Penny.
Yes, yeah, just saying. Penny. So let me. I just want to add to that.
Relationship with Penny.
So Penny is a tool, and thanks to Isagenix for providing the tool. And for those of you who are serious about the business, get the paid version. It's not that much. Get the paid version. We've got to invest in our business, and then start to work with Penny. And as I said this morning, I have sort of reverse engineered Penny. So put a 1 in the chat for those of you who are actually every day working with Penny, just to give me an idea who I'm talking to here. Put a 1 in the chat.
2 people.
Okay, then. All right. So I'm not going to go in depth. What I will say is I highly recommend getting the Penny app, using the Penny app, because there's tutorials with it, and get into the habit of doing that. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Perhaps on another call, I'll go in depth where it'll make more sense, Carolyne. The other piece that people ask me all the time is, well, where do you find all these people you talk to? So I'm no different than anybody else. On LinkedIn, which I use for business, Facebook, which I use for lifestyle products. I never mention products. I don't show products. I show my lifestyle. And I really wave the age card. I'm 70. Here's what I'm doing. So I play with that and I'm okay with it. And so no different than you, people reach out with friend requests, right? Or connection requests on LinkedIn. And that's my business platform. And so I will go check out their profile to find out who are these people. and I'll check their timeline and I'll check them out. And if and when there's alignment, I will respond. Typically, people don't send a note, a message. Don't be that person. When you're sending out connection requests, send a note as well and make it meaningful. So I'll get back to someone and say, hey, I see your friend request or your connection request. Do we know each other? And then majority of people will respond and say, well, no, I checked your timeline. We have a lot of mutual friends, or I saw the work that you're doing. And so I'll reply and say, great, that's awesome. Thank you for checking me out. I appreciate you reaching out. My practice this year for any new connections, my practice this year for any new connections is to schedule a brief Zoom chat. Why are you doing that, Carolyne?
Because that's what I'm telling people to take notes without interrupting you.
Okay. My practice this year for new connections is to schedule a brief Zoom chat so we can learn more about each other to see if and how we might be able to support each other. Are you open to that? 95% say yes.
Yeah, 95% say yes.
Yeah, they do. And so then I schedule a Zoom chat, and I do this every day. Every day and if it's not someone reaching out to me, I'll reach out to somebody and say, because I want to add to my funnel, and I'll say to them, I checked your timeline, or I saw your LinkedIn profile, would love to connect with you. I believe we have a lot in common. Are you open to having a brief Zoom chat so we can learn if and how we might support each other? Most people on LinkedIn are there for business. And so they will say yes. So when I do that every day, 5, 10, 15, either reach outs or I'm reaching out, it's easy to get 2 to 3 Zoom calls a day. It's easy. So that's what I do. The second strategy for finding people to talk to is the Facebook birthday messages. So can you see how I'm filling my day already? Yes. So my birthday messages, Carolyne had a bit of a laugh about this when we were talking about these birthday messages, and she said, well, like, you have this list, but how many of those people do you know? I said, there's a lot of them I don't know. Never met them, don't have a clue. I'll go look at their timeline. I'll find out, where do they live? Are they active on Facebook? What have they commented on lately? And then I'll go back, and I always do a video birthday greeting. I don't put it on their timeline because there's like 50, 60 other people saying happy birthday. I do not like to be in a crowd. I like to be ahead of the pack and away from the curb. So I always do a video birthday greeting, always, and with people I don't know as well, because I want to get to know them. So before I tell you what I say, here's what happens. 99% of the time, I get a response, and people say, oh my gosh, I felt so special, or I've never had a video birthday message before, and oh my gosh, that's so great, thank you. And one woman even said to me, would you teach me how to do that? Sure. And when they respond and say, oh, that's such a great message, thank you, I'll reply and say, you're most welcome. I believe birthdays are important and should be celebrated. And by the way, what's happening in your part of the world these days? I mean, that's a beautiful pandemic thing, right?
Hang on.
Yep, that's it, I'm done.
No, Pat does stuff and I have to dissect it and take it apart, right? Because this is what happens, guys. Some of us are just naturally talented at doing things, and we do them, and then I'm like, well, how did I do it? And then what? And what happened? So because I'm emulating some of the things that Pat does, and so I'm connecting with people, and then it's like dead space. So this is what, put a 1 in the chat if you guys are seeing that there are birthdays popping up on your Facebook page. I just want to see who's using Facebook here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so all right, so you're seeing that there. So, and who here? And let's just do, because this is why we ask you to be on camera. Who here actually goes and wishes people a happy birthday? Either a text on their timeline. Oh, let's do it one at a time. Who just wishes people a happy birthday on their timeline? Who sends out a text birthday greet, like messenger text, just type it out? Okay. Who sends out a audio message? Who sends out a video message? Okay, the numbers are dwindling. And so this is what I said to Pat, a couple things. So with Pat, we want you to take us through this because I believe this is something that we can all learn and develop, because I was just ignoring the people who I'm like, I don't know who that is. I'm not sending them a birthday greeting. Well, you know, and then I thought about it. Well, it would be kind of cool if I got a birthday greeting from somebody I didn't know. I'd be like, wow, who is that? Right? And a video birthday greeting. And it could be funny. Like one time I was playing around with it, and all of a sudden I got the funny pictures with the horns and the pig nose and everything. But I thought I didn't know how to get rid of it. I just sent it anyway. And that person was rolling on the floor laughing. So Pat, walk us through what you do, how you do it. And guys, get your phones out because it's not too late to do it for the next day. We're going to practice. And then I said to Pat, what's the next step? So big deal. You send somebody a birthday greeting, big deal. But she is actually recruiting and enrolling people from those birthday greetings. So who wants to learn that? Okay, most of you. All right. Pat will
Okay.
just.
So, and let me say this, I'll start with the end in mind. One of my newest consultants reached out to me and messaged me after I sent the birthday greeting. We worked together 20 years ago. She had been stalking me on Facebook, never commenting, never reaching out. And her birthday came around and I did the birthday greeting and she came out of the woodwork. And she is now a new consultant. This happened, right, Carolyne? I mean, this happened so fast.
Yes.
So fast. And so it's like, bam, you just never know the power of the birthday greeting. And I feel and believe, especially in the last 2 years, anything we can do to help someone feel special, it's so easy, and why wouldn't we? That's my feeling on it. Now, of course, let me put my business hat on. I do want to talk to people and recruit people who are in alignment with who I'm looking to attract. So my birthday greeting, now this is the fun part of Penny, Miss Carolyne, because I've been using Penny now for well over a year. And so when I go to do a Facebook birthday message, it pops up the message I did last year. So last year's message, let me just talk it through and then I'll demo for you. Last year's birthday message was, happy birthday, wishing you a ton of wealth, great health, especially these days, and much joy and happiness today, tomorrow, and all year long. Happy birthday. So that was last year's message. Now I've been doing it a year and I'll look up a little bit and I say, oh, okay, there hasn't been much in there. I don't want them to think I'm repeating. So I changed the message this year. Happy birthday, wishing you a ton of hugs and kisses and cake and ice cream and all the things that make your heart sing. I hope you have great new memories today and a fabulous celebration. Happy birthday. You can get all that done in a minute because Facebook Messenger doesn't give you a lot of time. So here's what I do very simply. First of all, I make sure I got my lipstick on, make sure my hair is okay. I check my background, make sure the lighting is good. I want it to be a good representation to somebody for their birthday. So spend a little bit of time and get yourself poised and positioned. I'll go into Messenger. And if it's somebody I don't know, I go to their timeline. I want to find out if they live in Australia or if they live in the UK or if they live down the road or what have you, because I'll add a comment like, hey, I did one last week. Hey, Tammy, it's Pat down the road in Edmonton. Or I'll say, hey, Carolyne, it's Pat over here in bitter cold Edmonton. So add something that causes them to know that you did a little bit of homework. Like they're going to go like, who are you? But you're adding something a little personal to it. And so then I'll just get my earbuds in. I'm not going to transfer over, but I'll get this up and I'll do the right positioning for the lighting. So there's no shadow in my face. Like that's not looking good. So hold it up, get the right lighting, and I'll just sit there. Sharon, don't be listening to my singing here, you beautiful vocalist, you. So I just hold it up and go, hey, Carolyne, it's Pat in Edmonton. Just calling to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Carolyne, my wish for you today is a ton of hugs and kisses and cake and ice cream, all the things that make your heart sing. Wishing you a really special day and great new memories. Happy birthday. That's it. What's that, 20 seconds? Yeah. So I don't sing the whole birthday message. Like that can get kind of boring. throw something in like hugs, kisses, cake, ice cream. Today, the ones I did, the people I knew with Isogenics, I said, and hey, a few Isodelights too. So personalize it a bit. So that's my birthday greeting. I got all the responses back today. So now let me go back to Penny. At the end of my day, and let me go back to my daily routine. At the end of my day, my last half hour to kind of wrap things up, I go back into Messenger and LinkedIn message, and I scroll back at the start of my day, and I'll look at who did I send a message out to. I go into Penny, and if they're in Penny, I will update by way of adding a note. February 14th, sent a video, Facebook birthday greeting, no response yet. Or I'll go back and put video birthday greeting sent at 9:05 a.m. Responses back and forth, check Facebook Messenger. Like I don't put it all in there. I'll just say check Facebook Messenger. Call, follow-up call scheduled for Thursday, February, what would it be, 19th or something, whatever it is. So I reverse engineer. I go back from the end of my day and I update Penny. And then I will schedule. Penny gives you the option to schedule a follow-up. Always schedule a follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. So I'll schedule the follow-up on the day that we agreed to have a Zoom call. So I'll put that in Penny.
Wait. You're a step ahead of me.
Okay.
So, okay, because this is the learning part, right? So this is what we're doing on our little powwows. I'm doing the birthday greetings. I'm like singing happy birthday and all those silly things. And then I was like, okay, well, that was nice. So now what? So this is what Pat said, put them in Penny or whatever follow-up system you're using, but Penny seems, because my reach outs are telling me to connect with Kathy Coover because my Facebook is 99% Isogenics people. So this is how I can get those Isogenics people sort of pushed down in the feed and then start putting my own contacts in there. So the follow-up, and when do you follow up with them? So you sang them happy birthday. You never heard back from them.
2 days.
When did you, and what are you doing in that 2-day follow-up?
Then I'm going back into Messenger if I haven't heard back. First of all, I check their timeline, because remember the note I put in, I shared with you today. I want to share this with people. This is so important. So there was a very close colleague of mine. I sang happy birthday to her last week. Very unusual. I did not hear from her. Very unusual. I put the note in Penny, no response yet. And I scheduled it for a 2-day follow-up. Give people 2 days. And so particularly if you're doing some on a Saturday, people are like off to the mountains or something. So 2-day follow-up. And so I checked, she had not, Facebook Messenger will show you if somebody saw the message. I'm not sure if you all know that, but you'll see their little face down in the corner, their profile picture. And if not, you'll just see a check mark that it was delivered. I saw that she hadn't seen it. So I went to her timeline. And I think this was 4 days, Caroline, because I would have checked the timeline earlier. I went to her timeline. She put a long post on her timeline and she said, I'm so sorry if I had not gotten back to any of you. I had a stroke last week and I was in the hospital. Now, if I wasn't me and just having learned what I've learned, I may have taken the non-response as, oh, she's ghosting me. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever felt like no response meant you were being ghosted.
Oh, just me, nobody else.
Like, really? Yeah.
Okay.
So that tends to be a default response. It's like, oh, they're ghosting me, so I'm not going to bother them. Instead, I make it a point to follow up and find out like what's going on. Because remember, we hear from so many people, whether it's Zach or Susan or Kathy Coover or Carolyne or Christina or anyone, it's like, it's not about us, it's about them. I always keep that in my mind. This is about them. That's why we're here with Isogenics. So I went and I wanted to do some investigating, snooping. It's like, what's going on? And so I checked and found out that she had a stroke. And so then I went back to Facebook Messenger and sent a video message of care and concern and prayer, to which she responded.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's put the ghosting aside. Life is happening. People are dealing with stuff. And so let's put a, compassionate heart in place and reach out and be the person who is showing that we care. We're just not after the sale or the team member.
And so now, all right, so let's go back to the follow-up. What are you
Yep.
saying in the follow-up? Send a birthday greeting. If you got a positive response back, then it's easier to move forward. If you
Yep.
heard nothing, now what do you do?
Oh, so here's my real, I keep it simple, right? So if I've heard nothing, then I'll give it a week. So again, I go back to one of the lessons we've learned on a lot of the coaching last year, 2 days, 2 weeks. So I'll give it 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, then I go into Facebook Messenger and I just go, hello? ? That's all I do. And I get responses. I don't need a complicated message. It's like, hello, anybody home?
Right.
That's all.
I love that. So you're just keeping the channels of conversation open.
Yeah, until they
And
tell me to drop dead or whatever.
And this is so important because I think we get, network marketers, we get discouraged when we don't get an expected outcome. And so I've learned this, I've been working LinkedIn for a year, and I think I've enrolled 2 people. They weren't stellar. And it's the consistency factor of, I started at 500. I think everybody starts at 500, whatever. And I'm at like, I don't know, 1,500 connections and followers because of that practice that I learned from Pat. And, people, and this is a key point here. When you know who your avatar is, you'll know who to connect with. Because in the beginning, when I started consistently working LinkedIn, there was all these men that wanted to connect with me. And I'm like, well, you're not my avatar. Like, what? Why are these people showing up? And then I realized I have some work to do. So I had to go, well, I don't have to. I chose to go connect with women who were my avatar, go see what they were doing, comment on what they were talking about, and then other women were commenting and then wanting to connect with me. So that's how I got rid of all the guys wanting to connect with me for whatever reason. And yeah, just reading through the minutia. And then the one key thing, and thank you, Pat, for this, is what did you see on my profile? And Sonia, you need an e-shot there, girlfriend. What did you see on my profile that you wanted to connect? I can't even remember the words. What is it about my profile that you like, that you want to connect with me? Right. So I want to know, are they just making connections for the sake of adding numbers, or are you genuinely interested? And so this is what I started doing this month. Just like Pat said, I decided to step out, and you can make a post about this. You can make it on your Facebook page and LinkedIn. I'm there for business. I've decided to step out in courage and really build my connections with my avatar and interesting people on LinkedIn. And so I will be reaching out and asking for a 15-minute get to know you Zoom chat. I trust that that's why you guys are here, and I look forward to connecting with you. I got to tell you that my response rate now, when I initiate the connection, more people are saying yes. And in the beginning, it was people were like, well, what do you want to talk about? That's the point of the connection, right? So that's when I went, not for me. That's not my person. And so, Pat, can you talk a little bit about, we talked about goals, we talked about using tools, we talked about the discipline and how you start your day and end your day. Let's talk about organization, right? Because what I've learned, and you guys know my previous, I have a bunch of nicknames. I won't say some of them, but one of them is, I tell people I'm a pilot, and they go, "You're a pilot? I thought you were a flight attendant." I go, "No, I'm a pilot." Well, I'm a recovering pilot. I pilot here, I used to pilot here, I used to pilot there, I used to pilot there. So if I popped into your office, how many piles would I see? How many piles would I see? Anybody? Would I see any piles? All right. And so organization, it's clearing the clutter. And look at this, look at the stack of my pile right now, you guys. It used to be like up to here. So Pat, can you talk about how you keep things down to a minimum and find the things that you need?
Mhm. Yes, happy to. Thank you. Because I don't like clutter. And I like keeping things simple. That's why my message, like, hello, that generates a response. I want to speak to one thing. It's very rare that someone on LinkedIn reaches out to me with a similar message saying, oh, you know, I read your profile and I'd like to get to know you. Would you be open to a call? Sharon, I think this will speak to yours. So I went to this gal's profile and it said, helping women entrepreneurs create a six-figure business. I thought, okay, well, obviously you did not check out my website or anything else about me, but sure, I'll chat with you. So that was the call I had last week. I was telling you a bit about Carolyne. So I hopped on the call with her. Beautiful, bright, smart, ambitious young woman in Eastern US. And so I did a little bit of education about where I am in Canada. Happy to do that always, because she kept saying like, where, what, where? So we talked about that a bit. Bottom line, the call was about 40 minutes. And at the end of the call, I was promising to send her the link to the Cell-Toi webinar because she kept staring at me and she said, I just have to ask you, she said, what kind of makeup are you wearing? I said, I'm not wearing any makeup. Why do you ask? And she said, well, your skin's just glowing. I said, well, would you like to know more? And she said, well, yeah, I would. I said, all I wear is lipstick. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, what are you doing? I think it was Friday. And I said, what are you doing tonight? Because I'd like to invite you to. And she said, well, I have a Valentine's Day and I have a new boyfriend. Oh, okay, good for you. Happy for you. And I said, I'll send you the link. Are you open to that? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to send you the link as soon as it's available. When do you believe you'd have time to look at it? Because then I want to schedule a follow-up call with you right after. So anyway, there's a Cell-Toi prospect for me. So very happy about that. So Sharon, that's a little bit about people who reach out. The call I had with my Zoom, the Zoom call today was a woman in the wellness space who reached out and we had a call. And she was pretty much like me, shoot from the hip. And she said, well, I just kind of want to get right down to business. I see you're about wellness. I'm about wellness. She said, I'm with a network marketing company. What about you? I said, yeah, me too. I said, who are you with and why? And tell me about it. So she told me I had never heard about the company. She had heard about Isogenics. And by the time we finished, I'm sending her information on our whole blend Vitamers protein shakes because she had never heard of it and was curious. So that's how I handle the business opportunity, Sharon. It's like I just turn it around. I listen. I just ask a ton of questions and I listen and I listen. And she said, yeah, well, the company I'm with doesn't have that. My son is pushing me to try protein shakes. And she's like, I think Isogenics has some of those. I said, yeah, would you like me to share a little more? Anyway, that was that. So I don't typically fall into any conversation about their business opportunity. I just don't. So sometimes the call's over in 5 minutes and I'm fine with that. So my organization, first of all, when I come to my desk, I always have my notebook right here, always front and center, because I'm always, this is a really high quality, expensive one, people. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, and the gold at the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's from the dollar store. It's $1. So I always have, and it's green because it represents money. I think in terms of colors and money association. I always have my notebook right in front of me, Carolyne, fresh, clean page. I don't care what call I'm on or who I'm talking to. I'm always open to learning and or having an action step going away. To my left, I'm always prepared with, I have downloaded some amazing quality scripts. I have them right here always and getting prepared for my calls. That's on my left. And then in the middle, before any call, I have Kyle's sheet, shifting gears around my intention for each and every call, which I did and took 5 minutes before this call here. What's my intention? What can I bring to this call? What exactly is it that Carolyne asked me to deliver to keep it clear and concise and simple for everybody? To my far left, I'm always ready with, oh, here's the secret to my glowing skin. It's all right in a bottle. I have that. The other prop I have is this.
Wait, wait, wait.
I know. Yep. I'm always ready with this to share, tell people about the money. Tell people about the money. And I always have, if I'm not talking about the money, I'm talking about my transformation. So I always have this right here as well, because a picture tells 1,000 words. That's on the left. On the right, I have my LIA. I have my daily growth checklist, my intent. So those things are on the right, notebook in the middle, props on the left. That's it. That's all that's on my desk. And water.
Okay. And
Always
so
water.
always, yeah, cheers, always water. And so for the people who, hey, like I said, I'm a recovering, pilot. How do you keep the paper down to a minimum?
But I don't use a lot of paper. I mean, the LIA, this 1 sheet per month. That's it. Otherwise, I have my notebook. And I use what I have here, my little tabby things that I use a lot of.
Right.
So my stickies. And so you can see on the top of my page here, I put them where for specific notes I know I want to go back to. Instead of flipping through pages, I'll do that. Like, I just don't have a lot of paper. What paper do you have?
I'm not talking about me. I shared with you.
Oh, okay. Well, let me share one more thing that Christina Murray introduced me to. And so it's my binder. And in my binder, it's a one grab, right? So in my binder, I have the Crystal Executive Goal Sheet. I've got past LIAs. I've got the double PIB sheet. I've got the sheet that shares all the pack information. So if that's the paper you're talking about, it's all in one binder, all
Okay,
tabbed.
that's awesome. So has this helped any of you who, and throw one in the chat, if you are in that place where you can't find things, you don't know what you should keep, what you should be using, what you should throw away. Okay, so specifically, I'd love for you guys to come and give Pat some feedback on what is one, because when I go to a call, you guys, I write down action step. And Pat, one of my goals is my morning routine. Because let's face it, guys, when you got people in your life, right, spouses, kids, whatever, you can have a beautiful morning routine, which often gets, interrupted. So part of what I choose to do, I don't have to do, is make my husband aware, not make him, just create an awareness of how I want to start my morning. And one of them was, I don't want to listen to CNN, because he gets up in the morning and in the, we have a great room and the kitchen and the dining room, everything's one space, and the TV is on and CNN is on, and I'm like, oh my God, how many shootings do I have to listen to? And so then I thought, all right, well, you know what? That's where he is. I don't have to be in there. So I stayed in my bedroom and created a little sanctuary where I have a chair and I got a table and I have these things, my daily reading inspirational, my prayer inspiration, and it's my space. And then I close the door to the bedroom so he knows. So create a space for yourself and create boundaries around what you want and communicate to people. And I just said to him, yeah, I really don't enjoy listening to CNN first thing in the morning and all that news about the shooting and who did what to whom. And so guess what? The TV is no longer on in the morning. So we teach other people how to treat us, guys. We have that opportunity, or we can make excuses about, well, I don't have the space, I don't have the time, the kids are running around. And yeah, go ahead, Pat.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just thinking as I look at the time, one of the things, I'm so grateful for all the calls that we've had over the Mondays and so on and so forth. And one thing I always had silently hoped for on the Monday Momentum calls was just a bit of time for some Q&A. And so I would love if we could just spend 5 minutes and maybe hear from 2 or 3 people who may have a burning question and we could address it right now. Could we do that, Carolyne? I've
Yeah.
answered a few in the chat.
Yeah, so Charlene, and I think Charlene and Gwen are in the same place. So Charlene, why don't you come on out and share, like, yeah, some people are paying for things and not using them. So Charlene?
Yes, I love everything that you've done, Pat, and some of the things I do the same. And I've been paying for the penny
Mhm.
ever since it started. And I've gone and I've listened to all of their videos. And at the time I'm listening to it, I think that's so easy. But then when I go to use it, I get so confused. I don't know which way to go. And I'm still doing the old school thing because I like to look back and see when I connected with somebody and what I said. And I can't find out how to do that in Penny. Can you help me there?
Absolutely. And it ties in a bit with what Glenda was asking, if I have a file for each customer. My file is in Penny. So everything about any person goes in Penny. When I'm scrolling a bit on Facebook, if I see that somebody had a baby or bought a new home or got married or remarried or whatever, I go right to my contacts in Penny and I put that in there. So Glenda, I'm adding to that file all the time. And or if I see somebody posting on their timeline that they just bought a new car and it might have been a certain type of car, I put a note in Penny, just bought a Toyota, whatever, because and I'm coming back to you, Charlene, because one of the things I do when and if I see an article or a post or a comment or even a cartoon about a Toyota, I'm going back in and I'm going to send it to that person. So it's not always about the business. It's about, I see you, I hear you, you matter to me. And here's what I thought of when I saw this. Charlene, what I would suggest, because what's worked well for us, Carolyne and I have really created a good tag team in that she has taught me so much about network marketing as a profession based on her expertise, her experience, her success. And I bring to her my experience as a business coach with social media and marketing and languaging and Penny. So what I would suggest, Charlene, is find somebody on your team who is using Penny, with whom you're in alignment, you can have fun, you've got similar energy, you've got similar goals. And so ask that person to help you like get on a live working hour together and get some help with Penny live in the moment. And then you can bring something to that person. That's what Carolyne and I do with each other. So we'll stop and she'll say, wait a minute, wait, what did you just say in that message? Or how did you find that in Penny? Or with the webinar, I took the graphic and I uploaded it to Penny. And that's how I sent out so many fast invitations with a personal note. So find a buddy, Charlene. I really believe that that's going to be the next step for you to take you to getting into action with Penny. Does that help?
Will you be my buddy? Because I've tried to suggest to people, and I've got one girl she's been a school teacher, retired. I think that she's very intelligent, 100-pound club member, but last year she got cancer. And so she has decided that she just wants to buy the product. She don't want to hear anything about the business. And other than that, I have no one that is interested in learning. They want me to teach it to them. And that's the reason I'm trying to learn.
Hang on a sec. This is where our team Facebook pages come into play. So go into Team Success Leader Grower and post your wish. I am looking for blankety blank, and I want to do this on a daily basis. Can we spend a half hour learning together? So that's how you do that. You'll find somebody that is of a like mind, and that's where I would start, right? Christine, what do you mean by an avatar? Yeah. So Pat, do you want to explain who your avatar is?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. Again, I go back to my coaching. When my coaching clients would come to me and I'd say to them, okay, who's your ideal customer? Oh, everybody. Yeah, and what is it you bring to the market? Oh, everything. It's like, great, good luck with that. So the avatar to zero in, and how I helped people with that was to say, look, the people you're going to work with, they either identify as a Starbucks or as a Tim Hortons or / Dunkin' Donuts, or they are a Walmart person, or they are a Nordstrom's type person. So first of all, who are you? Who do you want to be in the market? I choose to be a Starbucks. I am a Starbucks girl. That is part of my lifestyle. I choose to attract Starbucks people. What I mean by that is if you've ever stood in a Starbucks line, and I used to go there regularly and study the showcase, the glass case where the stuff was. And I would take my clients in there and say, take a look at that little ball of donut on a stick that they're charging $3.95 for. Now you tell me why you're nervous about raising your fees and the value you bring. So I'm a Starbucks gal. I want to attract Starbucks people. And I mean, people who come to me, they don't question the cost of the donut on a stick. They don't question the cost of a latte with a double, triple, short, whatever. Those are the people I want. That's my avatar. That's typically women age 45 plus. Look in the mirror. That's your avatar. I want to hang out and serve people, women people, mostly women people like me, who want healthy aging, who are a Starbucks person, who have an active lifestyle, who live a certain lifestyle when it comes to finances or spending or investing or learning or supporting and so on. That's your avatar. I am not a Walmart person. I don't want people who are going to two-bit me or, the ones who want bargain basement deals and so on. That's not my avatar. That's somebody else's avatar. So who asked that question? Christine. Did that help, Christine? Come on. Yeah. Okay, good. So again, identify the energy you want around you, identify the focus and the values and the alignment that you want around you. I want to go sit in Starbucks with my ideal avatar and have that kind of conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have a question for Pat or takeaway or feedback or action step? Because you come on the call, what are you going to do because you've been on this call? What's next for you guys?
And as you think about that, Christine, you don't have a LinkedIn account. Are you looking to grow the business and attract business partners? Then I would suggest you get a LinkedIn account. That's where business happens. That's where the business conversation happens. That's where people know and expect you're going to talk about business. Yeah.
And don't go for the paid account. I have a free
No
account.
need.
You don't need a free.
No need.
So
Okay,
guys,
one
just
more
wrap
question?
up here. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Wrap up. Who's got a question? Takeaway. What are you going to do as a result of spending an hour with us today? Ruby, we haven't heard from you.
Hello, Miss Carolyne. So nice to see all of you. You know what I love about Ice Strengths? When you go away and get busy somewhere else, you come back and the family's here. Except I was looking forward to the 10 o'clock. It was in my calendar. And I was just like, oh my gosh, where did it go? But I came in after. So that's so great. Thank you so much. Sounds like I missed a lot of good stuff because I just came in a few minutes ago. But
what's your takeaway, Ruby, from being here for a couple of minutes?
That is my takeaway. My takeaway for being a few minutes is that for the people who are committed, how steady it is, because you guys are here. I mean, this Eugenics always is a home, and just you being here. And I posted something, Miss Carolyne just messaged, and answered right away. It just feels like home all the time and family, and that is a big takeaway, actually. It's a big takeaway. And Pat, I do have a question. If we have a few minutes, it's 6 o'clock. Can I ask a quick question? On LinkedIn, if you are doing like other things, how do you represent yourself in LinkedIn? This is one of my issues with social media and LinkedIn. Like right now, I'm coaching closers for another company, right? I mean, my company, my business. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. And so every time I think of putting myself out there on LinkedIn or social media, it's always a confusion for me. Is that, how do you, not a confusion, but it's a question. Like, how do you really present yourself without eliminating the other part of you? That's also where, people, that business people would be looking for you.
Well, I can sum that up for you because it already sounds confusing to me. So there is some confusion there, and a confused mind will not buy. A confused mind will not connect. A confused mind will not follow up. And so I have 3 businesses. I am still a professional speaker. I still do virtual keynotes. I still do some business coaching and teaching people how to speak professionally and so on. My primary business, and this is what I coached all the time, what is your fastest path to cash? My primary business right now, I planted my flag with Isagenix. As a professional speaker, I have no interest right now in donning a mask or a hazmat suit or whatever else I need and go out into security. And I have no interest in that right now. I'll do it virtually. My business coaching, I will do it minimally. My flag is planted with Isagenix. I do not mention Isagenix, but bottom line, Ruby, all my businesses are in alignment. My mission is to help professional women get healthy and wealthy. That can be by speaking, that can be by coaching. Right now, primarily it's with Isagenix. So you want to get very clear on your one-line mission statement. Who are you? What are you about? And then get that down to 1 to 2 lines and get very confident and competent in expressing that and make that consistent across social media.
Yes, that's a challenge for me. Like, yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a challenge for many people.
Like, I'm clear that I love both, like Isagenix, I still have people in my team and coaching them. But the other part, I'm coaching coaches, my other part is, they're not related.
So Ruby,
One is corporate, one is,
I think that's for
yeah,
another call.
anyway,
right?
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's helpful, actually.
Gwen?
Clarity is power. Yes, thank you.
Gwen, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're on mute.
Focus on my power.
Jeez. No, I just want to say, I really am glad I got onto this call. And thank you, Pat, Carolyne. Totally opened up my mind, or maybe more aware of what I'm doing. I think that's probably, in all honesty. So I'm very grateful for this call, but I have to go because I promised my husband I'd be downstairs at 9 p.m.
Go.
So, but
Fine,
thank
fine.
you.
Well,
Thank
we're going to
We're wrapping.
wrap up.
Okay,
We're wrapping
thank you.
up. So
Yeah. So here's the thing, Carolyne, I just want to wrap this up with a statement.
thank you.
Even as a speaker, when I would finish doing a keynote presentation and people come up and they go, oh, that was so good. Oh, you're so inspiring, la, la, la. That tells me nothing. That tells me nothing. What I want to know, and Carolyne, what I believe you're asking is, what specifically are you taking away and what are you going to do with that? That's the only thing that matters. So let's hear from 3 volunteers real quick. Bang, bang, bang. What'd you get? What are you going to do? Go ahead, Sonia.
I'm gonna hone in on my me time because I always give up that for everything else and everybody else's crises. So I
All
love
right,
hearing
when and what will that look like?
well, I'm doing similar stuff, but I just always let it go. So getting up, doing my gratitudes and getting my body moving.
First thing in the morning, I'm hearing.
First in the morning. Yes, I love mornings.
Starting when?
Starting Wednesday.
Okay, so this is a bit of training as well. It's really important for you and for your mind and therefore actions. When you make a decision and you identify an action, tell yourself when you're going to do it, when are you going to start, what is the specific time frame, and what's it going to look like. Get really specific. Most people don't do that because they don't want to hold themselves accountable. So get really clear, really specific, and make it happen. Let's hear from 2 more real
Thanks.
quick. Christina, are you coming off mute?
I am coming off mute. So mine's kind of similar in regards to my me time. So I do have that 2-hour window of me time, and it's supposed to start at 7 and end at 9. However, it keeps on getting to where, like, I'm hopeful I start at 9 now, just because I allow other things, and being a husband, one of those things, to get in the way. So I will start my me time first, make that, so that,
Christina, when I was married,
yes.
I had a husband like that. You know what I did? I
What?
got up, I put on my house coat, put on my boots, and I went outside and sat in my car. Because he was not hearing me. He
Yeah.
would not stop interrupting me. And I'm so committed to my goals. I was the major breadwinner. I was so committed to my goals and getting myself anchored because at the time I was taking care of my mother-in-law with Alzheimer's. I was taking care of my infant grandchildren. I was taking care of a husband and so on. I had those mornings. I needed to ground myself and I needed to take the action and I needed to stay committed. I went out to my car. Took him a while to track me down.
All
Yeah.
right, well, Pat, thank you. I just want to wrap up because
Yep.
we're certainly
We're
past
done.
the hour. I wanna- Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everybody who participated. I trust you guys there's no more pilots on this call. And that you are going to immediately, I've already written down one thing that I'm taking action on, and that's what, Pat, I asked you, what is your, I don't take NOx, I don't put BCAA, I don't use the tri-release, I use different stuff. So I'm gonna take on doing that in our 2-week Fit Fabulous February challenge in our little group. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Valentine's, sending love to everybody. And let's go out there and spread some love and share the love. Isogenics has so much to offer everyone, and thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you, Pat. Always appreciate your insight. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.